Hello! In this video, I'm going to go over a little bit of what I did this year for in-depth, and I'll also show you how I made my favorite piece. This year, I decided to learn how to work with clay. I wanted to do this because I'm a creative person and I like trying different types of art. I started learning pottery with clay that needs to be fired in a kiln, but because I didn't have the materials for this during isolation, I changed my focus to working with polymer and paper clay instead. I explored ways of making different types of pieces, such as the ones you just saw. Now, I'll show you how I made this turtle. Before I started recording this video, I made a rough shape with tinfoil, which I then molded paper clay over. This allows the shape to be more sturdy and uses less clay. After I got my initial shape, I used a little bit of water to smooth out cracks and bumps. Then I started to make the feet and flippers. First, I rolled out 4 roughly equal-sized balls. I made the shape for the first one. After I smoothed it out to make it look clean, I started working on the second one. I made sure to compare the two often to make sure that they were the same size and shape. Then I made the back feet using a similar process, just making a different shape. After all 4 flippers were done, I again made sure to check that it looked good with the body. Then it was time to make the shell. I tried 3 different methods before I found one that I liked. For the first method, I rolled out a circle and cut it to the size I needed. I stretched it into a rounded shape and tested how it looked on the body. I didn't like how it looked, so I crumpled the clay and tried a different method. I poked a hole in the clay with my thumb and slowly opened it up. I tested to see how it looked and I thought it was okay, so I set it off to the side for now. I decided to try and make the shell from the piece I already had. I cut out the shape of the shell from the body and shaped it to stick out. I liked this version better, so I got rid of the shell from trial 2 and moved on to making the border of the shell. I rolled out a thin piece of clay and wrapped it around the edge of the shell I cut out. Finally, I drew a design on the shell and left the paper clay to air dry. The next day, I worked on making the succulents that I put on top of the shell. I used Fimo polymer clay for these. After I warmed up the clay, I started to pinch off little pieces, roll them into tiny spheres, and flatten them. I made about 12 of these. Then I took the circles and shaped them into the succulent leaves by making little triangles. Once I had 5 leaves, I used this tool to attach them to one center circle. This is the smallest succulent I made, so I had to be very delicate and careful to put the leaves in the right spots. After I had the first 5 leaves on, I made 5 more and arranged them in between the first 5. I then added 1 more leaf in the middle, decided that the middle was still empty, and made 1 last leaf. This is the final product. I made a total of 10 succulents of different sizes. After I baked all the succulents and let the turtle air dry completely, I painted everything using acrylic paint. After I glued all the pieces together, this was the final product. Thank you so much for watching. Please ask me any questions you have by leaving a comment on my blog post. Bye!